What's going on, guys? It is Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we're going to be talking about this beauty that you might have seen in an unboxing a few weeks ago. This is the CJRB Feldspar. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everybody. So glad you stopped by to check out this little guy. This is the CJRB Feldspar. This is a knife that has been taking the EDC world by storm. If you follow knives on YouTube at all, you have probably heard about this knife. CJRB is a Chinese manufacturing company. It is the budget brand company of Artisan Cutlery, which makes absolutely great knives. I don't actually own any Artisan Cutlery models right now. There is one I'm looking at, so stay tuned for that. But I really wanted to get my hands on this guy because it was just, everybody was talking about him. They were talking about this one in the Centros. I also did an unboxing because I did end up ordering the Centros, and we will be taking a look at that one after I carry it for a little while. This one has really impressed me. I have to admit that as far as budget knives are concerned, I had my few that were always my go-to, and this one is creeping up on it. And I'll tell you more about that at the end of the video. This thing is, as far as materials, you've got G10 handles, you've got a D2 blade, beautiful drop point design, and if you can tell there, it is a tumbled finish, which is something that you just don't see on a lot of budget brand knives because it is extra steps, extra time involved. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I've definitely seen better tumbling jobs, but it's actually quite nice. I really enjoy it. The G10 handles are very pleasant to the touch. It is not super grippy. It is not super smooth. You can kind of see there that kind of pattern, that kind of grain looking pattern on these G10 handles. So very nicely done. Has, of course, steel liners, this really cool pivot collar on there, and a deep carry pocket clip. The deep carry pocket clip works fantastically. It does go in and out of your pocket well. Some people are going to complain about these screws. Mine kind of came in. You see how it's just a little bit kind of cocked there? It works just fine, but they're not recessed down in the G10. Guys, this knife is 35 bucks. So I am not going to hurt or diss this knife for not having the countersink holes for my pocket screws or pocket clip screws on this knife for $35. For $35, this thing has just been excellent. The one thing that I really love about this knife is just things that you don't see on budget knives quite often. This thing, the G10's beautiful, but it is also contoured. This is a contoured G10 handle, which feels the hand very well, makes this thing an ergonomic, melt in your hand beast. They do have a smaller version. This is the larger version. They have a 3-inch version. This is a 3.5-inch version. And, of course, with my larger size hands, this fits in my hand perfectly. If you have smaller hands, you might check out the 3-inch version. It looks just like this, the same contouring on the handle. It's very comfortable in the hand. There is no jimping up here. I don't mind that at all because jimping is one of those things where I can take it or leave it. So just a really good ergonomic knife. Now, you have a sharpening choil up here. It is not a finger choil. I wouldn't suggest putting your finger in there. I mean, if you had to, you could, but it's not made for that. Of course, this thing has thumb studs, and deploying this thing is a friggin' dream. It just rockets out of it. The detent is tuned really nice. And for a knife for 35 bucks, you want to know what this reminds me of? As far as a thumb stud knife, now this one's running on bearings, mind you. But this thing flips out like my TRM Atom. Which of course runs on phosphor bronze and is just one of my all-time favorite EDC knives. So that ought to tell you something. This thing, the thumb studs are in the absolute perfect position to flick this thing out. It deploys perfectly each and every time. This is a reversible tip up only carry pocket clip So lefties, I believe, are going to be just as happy with this knife. I mean, of course, it's a liner lock, so but I believe a lot of lefties are used to that. You can operate this thing left-handed, you just no problem. Of course, I failed at that one. I am not left-handed, but I believe that lefties will appreciate that. But like I said, it actually fits in. It carries well. It flips well, the action. Now, as far as the action is concerned, it goes out well, and it just takes a little bit of effort to kind of get this blade down. Now, it's not smooth. I can definitely feel when I'm pushing this thing down, a little bit of maybe, I don't want to say grittiness, but, it doesn't feel as smooth as, obviously your much more expensive knives. Doesn't bother me at all because, like I said, just a little bit of, that's it. And then you can hear that detent clips in there like that. Detent is tuned absolutely perfect for this thing. This one in particular came in dead nut center. So that as well. Just the overall simplistic but very functional. Just a lot of stuff that I really like in other knives that are a lot more pricier than this. This thing has nested liners. Look at that. So you do not see the steel liners. It does have steel liners, and they go all the way down. There is no internal milling, but it doesn't really need it. The knife to me is a perfect weight. It's not overly heavy. We will compare it to some other of my budget knives that I compare this to whenever I was carrying it over this last week. And I got to tell you, this one is winning. Let's go ahead and compare it to some of our normal knives that we do on this channel to give you an idea on the size. There it is against the Paramilitary 2, and here it is against the PM3. So as you can see, as far as the length is concerned, it is about as long. I think the PM2 is just a hair longer than the Feldspar, but very comparable knives. Definitely a slimmer profile. When you close the knife, you can see how much thinner and just a more sleek profile this is in and out of your pocket. Now, of course, these don't bother me, but as far as having it in your pocket, the way the Para 3 and the Paramilitary 2 with this big hole, it kind of humps up, so it does take a little bit more real estate. As far as, so let's go ahead and put it up against the Griptilian, because this is another staple that everybody compares knives to, and as you can see, still very similar. A little bit thinner here. Blade width is about the same. Of course, if you had the drop point, it would be different on this particular Griptilian, but just really similar. And as you can tell on these, this has got a slightly contoured handle, which fits really good in the hand, and so does this one. So you get the contoured G10 just like you do on this knife, which is a lot more expensive. As far as the knives that I was comparing this to that I have, this is what was really my go-to budget knife. This is the Ontario Rat 1. This one is also in D2 steel with G10 handles, but as you can tell, this one right here is flat and this one is contoured. And it just makes a world of difference in the hand. I mean, the Rat is definitely an ergonomic knife. It feels good in the hand, but with that contouring and it's a grippy G10. You can kind of see see if I can get you to see the little checkered pattern there. But this one feels a lot better. I wouldn't say that one's grippier than the other, but it looks better in my opinion, and it feels better in the hand. The action on these are both thumb stud knives. The action on the Rat is not as false shutty as that one, but I have to admit that this one runs on phosphor bronze, and it feels a lot smoother on the action going back in, as far as not what this one does, where you can feel a little bit of grittiness when you're folding the knife. But I really am not worried about that at all. The bearings do work great. It's just a little bit of, I guess I have to call it grittiness. It's the only kind of adjective I can think of. All right, and then the other one that I really like and is another go-to budget knife of mine is the Civivi Praxis. This one is a larger knife, as you can see. I like to carry larger knives, so it's one of those knives that has done me very, very well. Another great option for budget, but I still think that I would gravitate more towards the CJRB now that I have it in hand than I would these other two. It's really hard for me to say that because these two have really been the ones that I grab if if I need a beater knife to go out and just work. These are the ones that I grab. As you can see on the Feldspar, because the pocket clip is a deep carry, they did not prioritize the pocket clip for the lanyard hole, but it still has it for you guys who like lanyard holes. Very simple construction. It only has the pivot and 2 back spacers or barrel spacers. So just an absolute simple but elegant design that I really, really have fallen in love with. Let's go ahead and see what this compares to in weight to some of the other knives that we have that I used to carry all the time. 4.15 ounces. All right, let's see what that is compared to the Rat. 4.9. Rat is significantly heavier. Of course, these are bigger knives. Let's see what the Praxis. 4.4. What did I say this was? 4.15. So the Praxis a little bit lighter. The 2 staples that everybody knows and everybody loves to carry, you know, dead-gum close, really close as far as the Benchmade grip tinian, and then as far as the PM2, obviously a lighter weight knife there. It does have milled out liners in this one. So I believe if you're used to carrying those knives or know how those feel in the pocket, that if you're looking for a budget secondary knife, whatever, a beater, you really can't go wrong for $35, guys. Holy crap. I really couldn't believe it when I got it in hand and felt the quality that I did for $35. Now, I do have the Centros. You will be seeing basically a review on that, and then I'm going to do a comparison between the Centros and this one, because the Centros is another one that's taken the EDC world by storm that everybody's talking about. So I'm in the process of figuring that guy out. The EDC task that I did with this is the normal stuff that I do, opening packages, cutting some cardboard, some zip ties, and this thing worked phenomenal. It is not, you know, the thinnest thing behind the edge, but it is right there in that sweet spot, you know, around 20 thousandths, maybe between 20, 23 thousandths behind the edge. So really thin. It's not like a laser beam like some other knives, but it is absolutely doable. A lot thinner than the Praxis. Well, I say that. Let's see what this Praxis is. Yeah, the Praxis, that's what I thought. It's a little bit thinner. This one is a slicer. It was the Rat that was a little bit thicker. So, but anyways, as far as weight is concerned, this one is a much lighter knife. And with the Contour G10 versus this flat, it does feel a lot better in the hand. Not that this one's uncomfortable at all. It's not. It does really well, especially for a bigger knife. But guys, I really, really, really can't say enough good things about it. I highly recommend it. If you're looking for a knife, your first knife, a knife to give somebody who's wanting to start to carry something, $35, holy crap. I should have bought like 10 of these to give them away as gifts, because I really, really think that almost anybody who puts this in their hand is going to love it. If you've got smaller hands, they have a 3-inch version that is probably just as good. I haven't had one of those, but I think it would probably work out great. The actual specs of this guy, the overall length is about 8 inches and 1/8. The blade length is 3.5, but the cutting edge is about 3 3/8 inches. You've got a blade width of an inch, 1.125. The blade thickness is about 125 thousandths, which is comparable to the Benchmade grip tinian, I believe. Yeah, Benchmade grip tinian is just a little bit under that, so it's pretty comparable. 125 thousandths on that. And then your handle width with the contouring, I believe, was like a 1/2 inch. So yeah, like 0.54. So 540 thousandths. I mean, that's in that sweet spot. That is not too thick at all. And you get the contoured handles, which just, like I said, makes this knife disappear in the hand. I believe, like with this one, I can feel, because of the flatness there, I can actually feel the pocket clip barely on this one. It is not a problem, but with this and the contoured handle and my big old fat hands, I don't feel that pocket clip at all right here. This is just so comfortable to cut with. You know, your regular hammer grip, your saber grip, usually I do it in the saber grip like this, but you know, you can choke up just a little bit, but with this hump here, you're not going to be able to do too much, or else it will be uncomfortable. But good for if you're having to stab into a bag of sand, whatever you're doing. The D2 steel will absolutely do the job. I am not one of those who berates D2. I think D2 is a perfectly fine steel, especially for this price range. I would much rather have D2 than 8CR13 MOV. So take that for what it's worth, but just an excellent, excellent value in my opinion. And I just can't say that enough about it. If you don't like this black color, they do come in an array of different colors. I know they have a G10. They have even, I think, an exclusive, which I really wish I would have known about when I went to buy this thing. It's a little bit more expensive, but they have a green micarta handle that I am digging, that I really, really think I would like. They have, of course, I think a brown color. So, you know, you've got some options as far as the handle material. I think all of them have the same color pivot collar. I don't think that changes. But anyways, guys, I think it's an excellent knife. If you're on the fence about it, I would pull the trigger. If you want to wait for my review on the Centros, you can. But I believe that either one of those knives, as far as what I've done with them, you'll be happy with. We'll do the full review of the Centros here in the next couple of days, and then we will compare these two because they are about the same price. All right. Well, that is about it. I really appreciate you guys stopping by and taking a look at this guy with me. Please stay tuned for more. I do have a giveaway going on. Today is the 17th. I do have a giveaway going on. So if you are looking at this knife on YouTube and not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. Look at my video list, and I have a giveaway going on right now. It's going on for an entire week, and you just win some pretty cool stuff. So, guys, be safe out there. I really appreciate you stopping by. Thanks to all my subscribers, and we will see you in the next one.